Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Corey Puffett, joined by Scott Sicko. We're so sorry to have kept you waiting. As you can see on your screen, we are having some technical difficulties. We got a bit of a late start, had some issues with the equipment, and I am still trying to fix up these graphic elements for the scoreboard, but DeMatha started the game with the ball. They are on the move in the red zone down near the 10-yard line.
DeMatha has been consistently moving it down the field. Tough give to Bud here. Not able to really convert anything there on third down. It'll be interesting to see what DeMatha does here. Are they gonna go for it? Oh, there's a flag on DeMatha on the play. Up until this point, up until getting into the red zone, DeMatha has been moving the ball consistently against good Counsel. Good Counsel defense really hasn't had an answer. It's been a pretty balanced attack from DeMatha, both run and pass game. They have actually declined the face mask penalty against DeMatha, so it's fourth down. It does look like DeMatha is going to bring on the field goal unit, trying to put up three early points here. We are going to be looking at about a 36-yard field goal.
All right, we are back. All right, we should be good at this point with the broadcast. There's a delay. All right. And a field goal, no good.
Field goal, unfortunately, no good.
All right.
So good Counsel is going to be taking possession here on their own. Where are they marking the ball? At their own 20.
So we have been recording since just after kickoff. So you will be able to go back and see that first drive of the game when we upload the full recording to the DM Stags TV YouTube channel later on today. We'll take down the live video at that point, and once we get the recording up. But in the meantime, we've got good Counsel taking over after the missed field goal by the Stags. There's Corey Smith with the catch from Jackson Rice on the sideline. Gain of a couple of yards. They are resetting the chains, though. I think the chain gang either was not set or thought that it was a first down.
They thought that was a first down.
Yeah, it's about a yard short. So second down and 1 here for the Falcons. Rice is going to hand off here right up the gut. Nice little scamper. I believe that was Joseph Williams, number 3.
That line definitely created quite the gap for him. He got easily to the second level there. That's can't be consistent for DeMatha. They need to be able to stop. They know the run's coming. It's 2nd and 1. There's not a surprise there. They need to step up.
2 wide receivers split wide down at the bottom of your screen as Rice takes the snap, and he's going to put it over the middle, a little bit behind his receiver, but a nice adjustment made by number 13, Kobe Ellis, to make the catch and move the chains. And we've got a Stag down on the field. That is Darrell Carey.
Official timeout for an injured player.
That was actually quite a dangerous pass, too. That was behind the receiver, multiple defenders around, but I think just from the first 3 plays here, it's pretty clear that good Counsel is not going to be afraid to throw the ball on DeMatha. They're attacking through the air, definitely.
Hopefully Darrell is okay. Got our trainers attending to him right now, Wendy Norris and Jen Redding out there. Bill McGregor heading out to see how his cornerback is doing as the rest of the team gathers down close to the sideline.
Seems like he's up. He's moving around pretty well. See both arms moving. That's a good sign. Jogging off the field even. Those are always the worst.
Yeah.
You get a real bad stinger, you get the wind knocked out of you, and it feels like some incredible pain out there in the field. But It looks like he's moving around really well.
Yeah, a little bit gingerly, but hopefully nothing too serious. We got a great training staff down there, so he'll be well taken care of. Get some action back on the field. Clock resumes, and another shotgun set for the Falcons. 2 receivers, 3 at the top of your screen, as DeMatha gets some pressure through the line and forces Rice just to throw that away past the DeMatha bench. A few guys broke through there.
That was a good job by DeMatha's defensive end there on the low side. Definitely didn't give up contain. Had to force the quarterback back and put pressure on him. He even got tugged on a little bit. I'm surprised. It was right on the edge, I think, of the ref throwing a flag there for holding.
James Pace was the one who finally forced him to throw it away, but you had quite a few guys getting through and forcing Rice to roll out of the pocket. Always important for the defensive line to make the opposing quarterback uncomfortable. Another snap. This time a handoff right up the gut, and again, it is number 3, Joseph Williams. Held to a shorter gain here by the Stags. It'll be 3rd and about 8 yards to go. Right on midfield.
That's more consistent for what we need to see from the defensive line there. Fighting through blocks, being able to slow him down at the first level, let the linebackers come in and do the work they're supposed to. We're definitely looking at passing situation here for good Counsel too.
Jeremy Allen, the lone receiver at the bottom of your screen, as DeMatha forces Rice out to his left, and he's going to short arm that one. It is picked off on the far end of the field. That looks like number 3, Jacob Wallace.
That was, I'm surprised he threw that ball. Being a right-handed quarterback, breaking out, running to the left there, he had to fully stop, turn his shoulders, trying to replant his feet, and he was clearly off balance with the throw. You can't get power behind those.
And once again, James Pace making his presence felt on the defensive line, breaking right through and forcing Rice to roll out to his weak side. And Wallace with a great adjustment.
Great team effort from DeMatha's defense there. Everyone had to do their part. The D-line, the defensive backs, it was excellent.
So after a missed field goal, to look for as DeMatha gets set for their second possession of the game. Handoff right at the middle to Coombs, and he'll fight for some extra yardage, gain of about 6.
That's what we need out of Bud Coombs every time. The offensive line, if they give him a little bit of space, that's what he's a threat to do, is consistently 5 to 7 yards, and he's going to break one of those big if the O-line can keep giving him the holes like that.
Pair of receivers at the bottom of your screen. I believe it is LeVar Keys alone at the top. And a handoff there. Denzel Gardner looked like he was a bit indecisive on whether to keep it or hand it off. Ultimately he did, but great pressure on the left side of the defensive line for the Falcons, and that will result in a loss of about 3.
That's the tough part with read option runs like that. It's great in theory because you have two-way go with the quarterback or the running back, but if that mesh point lasts a little too long, the defensive line can really disrupt the run and throw off the timing for the offensive line there.
Let's see if I can get our audio going through our headset here. I just realized that the phones are not in. And is that better?
That's much better. I can hear you now. I just waited to stop watching Corey's mouth move, and then I assumed it was my turn.
All right, 3rd down and 6 for the Stags. Gardner forced to run up the gut. And he's not going to be anywhere close, only a gain of about 1 yard. And it'll be 4th down for the Stags. Might have gotten to where Coombs brought the Stags on 1st down, and that's going to bring the punt unit on for DeMatha.
It's obviously not the result they wanted, but that was definitely a smart veteran move by the quarterback there, just to be able to tuck the ball, go up the middle. Denzel made the right decision in terms of not trying to force it downfield.
Alex Amaya, DeMatha's senior kicker, on the field. He'll be punting this one away to good Counsel. I didn't get a look at who is back there to return. Can't see his number from the side. And there's a penalty flag that is going to kill this play before it gets started. Either a false start or some other procedural penalty on the offense.
Oh, this might be big for DeMatha.
Oh.
That is an automatic 1st down for DeMatha. That is a gift from good Counsel to DeMatha.
Perhaps an encroachment then on good Counsel. I didn't see the movement on the line, but it must have been there. And DeMatha will get a fresh set of downs
I'm almost wondering if they had a player line up in the neutral zone.
Could have been.
Usually when they throw the flag that quick, it's because there's a misalignment from the defensive lineman. But that is a big momentum swing early in this game with them making DeMatha go 3 and out on their second possession. And now they get a fresh set of downs.
So Coombs still on the field as DeMatha's running back here. 3 wide receiver set. 2 split wide at the top of your screen on the short side of the field. Actually, no, that's 1 receiver and a tight end. DeMatha will hand it off. Coombs trying to get the edge. He's taken down a face mask. Very obvious penalty there. Anthony Sweeney was looking like he didn't realize what he had done, but very obviously took him down by the face mask, and that is going to be a 15-yard penalty against good counsel.
Those are the ones that, as a former player, you look at and you know that the defender knew what they were doing the whole time. They felt the face mask in their hand. They continued to hold it, and they pulled Bud down by the face mask the entire time. But, again, it's free yardage for DeMatha. The big thing is the dangerous part with that is you always hope that the player who's getting the face mask is safe and not going to get injured or anything.
You know, I got to ask you on the topic of face mask penalties, I'm not sure if the high school level ever had a distinction between 5 and 15-yard penalties, but as many NFL fans know, a number of years ago, they did away with the 5-yard version of the face mask penalty and made every face mask 15 yards. Do you think that there's potentially a drawback to that on the player safety side, that a player who gets his fingers hooked through that face mask, instead of just letting go to try and get the 5-yard, might just continue to rip that guy down?
100%. I mean, and also the NFL, college, and a lot of leagues now are making it so tough on defenders with the amount of penalties that they have to deal with. It's a fast game. It's big guys playing a sport that is a violent sport. Mistakes are going to happen, right? Guy grabs your face mask by accident. If he lets go, you kind of understand. When the drag down happens, that's really when you get concerned.
So that last play, incomplete, looking for LeVar Keys on the deep ball, just a bit out of bounds. 2nd down and 10. Coombs is going to take it for about 1 yard, maybe 2, off to the left side.
What I've noticed, Corey, is definitely on longer yardage downs here, good counsel is daring DeMatha a little bit to throw the ball. They're bringing a lot of heat. They're bringing a lot of blitz, bringing a lot of pressure, and they're basically going man on the wide receivers and saying, we're daring you to beat us one-on-one with a quick pass. With a blitz, you definitely have to get the ball out quick, but it turns it into a man versus man situation.
4 receiver set. Coombs in the backfield with Gardner.
They're going with man again, bringing heat again.
Yep, a lot of blitzers. Free man gets through for good counsel. That is number 34, Ashton Childs. He's a freshman.
That was just a complete miscommunication on the offensive line. You saw there was a free lineman
Yep.
to pick up that blitzer. They only brought 5. They didn't bring 6. So, numbers-wise, we had enough to pick him up, but it was a miscommunication. Lineman missed his assignment, and he broke through free there.
Looked just like a really good feint by good counsel. Looked like they were bringing 7. 2 dropped back into coverage, and ultimately the offensive line lost track of Childs. Got a free shot on Denzel Gardner and forces a 4th and 15. And another punt here from DeMatha. This time, no penalties. The punt does get away. It's fielded down around the 1-yard line, and DeMatha's right there to make the tackle. That is going to set good counsel up with terrible field position for their 2nd offensive possession of the game.
That is unfathomable why someone would decide to actually field that ball. Those are drills you go through every week in practice, making the decision on special teams of, hey, is this a ball we field? Is it a ball we not field? That was definitely a ball he should have let travel into the end zone. It had the momentum to get there, and they would have been starting much better field position than this.
That was junior wide receiver Jeremy Allen who fielded the punt for good counsel, and I imagine that maybe that's why he's not on the field right now. Coach might want to have a couple words with him. But pretty nice run off to the left side of the formation for good counsel. Hard to see the numbers from here, but I believe that was Joseph Williams, number 3 for the Falcons, with a solid run. Picked up enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, that was a big run. Those are the ones as an offensive player watching the defense play, you hope that they at least force them to a 2 or 3 down situation when they're this backed up. But they gave themselves some breathing room here.
Rice waits the snap, takes it. He gives it off again to Williams, and a nice little cutback. Small lane opened up, but DeMatha did a good job to close it back down after a short gain of about, well, he did get 4 yards. So not a bad run for the Falcons.
DeMatha definitely is playing a little more tentatively on defense here. It looks like they're going into a lot of too high zone coverage. I think after so many passing plays on the first drive, they're a little worried about that, which is giving them a little more to run.
That takes us to the end of the first quarter. Game. We'll switch sides of the field and get set for the second quarter of play. So, Scott, you've been pretty busy running the SGA this year. You guys had the pep rally earlier today. How would you say that went?
I think it went really well. It was a lot of fun. Seemed like all the kids had a great time. Had some good house competitions in there. And then, of course, my favorite part was the teachers beating the seniors in the tug of war. But that's just me. I might be a little impartial because I was on the teachers team for that one.
First down pass and broken up. A really nice job by the defense there as Jeremy Allen was the target there. Sorry, I said Jeremy Allen was the return man earlier, but that was number 11, Dylan Cleary, their junior safety, who was fielding that punt. But that pass for Jeremy Allen, incomplete. Good defense at the top of your screen. And DeMatha takes a timeout here on 3rd and medium.
This is actually, I like it when coaches do this, right? They want a game plan. It's 3rd, medium. You have great ball position if you end up making this stop, right? Those are the big swings in the games. Statistically, if you can get the ball basically outside of your own 40, the statistics skyrocket in terms of your scoring ability, which is it's great to see the coaches taking the extra time to game plan this.
Now I got to ask, would you take a different approach to that strategy if we were 11 minutes and 56 seconds left in the fourth quarter versus right now in the second quarter?
Definitely, right? So second half of the game, you're going to use your timeouts differently. First half, you're looking to kind of establish yourself, with just any lead heading into halftime, really. But later in the game, you got to plan for the infinite number of possibilities at a close game to be able to try to make a swing and make something happen at the very end.
DeMatha lines up on defense. Falcons ready for 3rd down and 5. Rice back to pass. A little bit of pressure up the middle, but a great throw and an even better catch by wide receiver Corey Smith. Freshman wide receiver for the Falcons. Stuck his hands out there. Really good job to throw it away from the defender, and then a good job to make that away from the body catch by Smith.
And this is where that timeout didn't pay off, right? So it's always a gamble when you try to strategize with these things, but you hope they pay off. And I still would say it's a good decision, right? I don't think DeMatha should be questioning that very much, but it was one that didn't pay off. Still a good field position for DeMatha right now, though. Yeah,
as you alluded to earlier, not having that one timeout at the end of the first half, not nearly as big of an issue as not having it at the end of the fourth quarter. We've got a penalty on the field, waiting for the official to make the call. It was a personal foul or maybe a sideline infraction by the Falcons. It must have been a personal foul. Sideline infraction would not result in a 15-yard penalty, but they're going to back them up pretty substantially back inside the 15-yard line.
Down to the 14-yard line.
Changane having a little bit of
I'm not sure
trouble figuring out where they're supposed to be right now.
I think the refs are trying to figure out in terms of it all depends on when the penalty is called, right? What the penalty is. We're not even actually sure whether it was sideline infraction or personal foul. So if the personal foul, it looks like it occurred after the first down was had. So
it's going to be a 1st and 15 now for the Falcons.
25.
Thank you. Yes, Add 15 to the 10.
1st and 25
That's how we do math in the English department at DeMatha.
Hey, I'm social studies, so don't look at me. That was a lucky guess. I almost had to take my shoes off to count that high.
Take your shoes off and grow 5 extra appendages. 5 more digits. Here we go.
Jordan.
1st and 25. Handoff to Williams, who's going to get a good chunk of that back. Takes it up near what would have been the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be now 2nd down and about 14 to go for good counsel. So pretty terrific 1st down run there. DeMatha clearly was not expecting that.
Yeah, usually in those situations, it is tough for defenses because usually they're playing those situations where they're thinking, hey, this is going to be a pass play 1st down, try to get some good yardage here. But, all right, DeMatha finally bringing a blitz here, hopefully get some extra pressure.
No pressure so far. Had plenty of time in the pocket, but just threw that up.
Oh, that's definitely PI.
And, yeah, there's going to be a penalty there.
Honestly,
it was underthrown targeting Kobe Ellis, and unfortunately because of the underthrow, Devin Bertrand, who was trailing the play, ended up making contact before the ball got there, and that's going to be pass interference.
That's just a nasty side effect of a bad throw, right? He was playing good defense. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised they didn't call holding in the backfield there on good counsel. I saw one of the good counsel linemen actually starting to fall backwards, and he pulled the DeMatha defender down with him, but those don't happen, right? They're inside the tackles. It's easy to miss those. You don't like to see it when it's happening to your team. But that PI call is tough, and it was the right call, obviously.
Yeah. So that gives good counsel a 1st down. Another 1st down would take them into DeMatha territory. Official down there having a word with Mark Beasley, number 9 for the Stags. Beasley, one of our defensive ends, he waited a moment to bring the rush on that last play, and it was a good job by good counsel's offensive line to pick up that extra rusher. Parents trying to get into this now.
DeMatha's going to roll into a 3 high here.
And another solid run.
DeMatha's playing, honestly, they're playing a little safe on defense, it looks like. They're keeping most of the coverage to 2 high, 3 high. Not seeing a lot of man coverages, not seeing a lot of blitzes either. It seems like they're just trying to play them a little straight up and see if they can just outgrind them here on the front 4. But unfortunately, I think with how they're moving the ball on the ground, they're going to need to start mixing it up a little bit.
There's a gain of 4 on 1st down, so it'll be 2nd and 6 for good counsel. Rice takes the snap with 2 receivers high, and this time we're going to get to call Rowan Walsh's name as he gets it out to his tight end on the little bubble screen looking play. And he's going to take that up near midfield. It looks like the official's going to call him just short of a 1st down. Place it on the 49.
That was a good play by Mark there, getting through, Mark Beasley getting through, putting pressure on the quarterback. Those swing passes, honestly, as a defender, when you have receivers clearing out already in the front, they're really hard to defend.
So now on 3rd and short, the hard count there by Rice is executed well, gets 2 or 3 DeMatha defensive linemen to jump over into the neutral zone, and that's going to give 5 yards to good counsel and a 1st down into DeMatha territory.
Those are frustrating. You're always trying to get every little advantage you can on the field, right? And one of them for the defense is you're trying to time up that snap and time up that count. And in those pressure situations, if the offensive line can hold their water, they can get the defense to get off sides.
It's a really good job by the sophomore quarterback to take advantage of that that jumpiness, the antsiness on DeMatha's part, as that time he's probably going to get forward progress to the line of scrimmage or just past it, but quickly driven back deep into the backfield. I think that was Chris Handon, who is on the field now to give a little break to Joseph Williams for the Falcons.
That was a really good play. He came up quick, read that it was a run, and basically was able to meet him at the line of scrimmage there.
Rice rolling out to his left side again and throws against his body out of bounds. Good job by DeMatha in coverage that time, as well as getting the pressure through the offensive line. It'll be 3rd down and 9 now.
Good Counsel's offensive line, I got to give it to them. I am seeing holding out there left and right, but they are so good at right at that moment when it's about to get called, they're letting it release. Oh, never mind.
They got him that time.
I take that back. They got him that time.
I never saw the penalty flag come out,
I
but
didn't either. I was saying, I'm watching on a lot of these plays that they're kind of the quarterback is getting forced out of the pocket. You know, the holding is happening, but you always have that. You kind of have that internal clock of when you got to let go of that hold, because everyone holds, but you just don't want to get caught doing it.
Yeah. So with the holding penalty, we will replay the down, but it will be 2nd and 19 back at the Good Counsel 45-yard line. Rice takes the snap just a little low, handles it well, puts it out wide, too wide of his intended receiver, Kobe Ellis. And it'll be 3rd down and very long for Good Counsel here in a 0-0 game.
This is definitely a stop that DeMatha needs. You can see they're going into prevent here. They're going to definitely they're bringing an extra D back in the game, trying to make sure that no balls get over the top here. They want to prevent anything deep. Anything under that 19 yards is pretty acceptable for DeMatha. They just want to make sure that they're going to get the ball back after this possession here.
Here we go. It's a 3rd and 19 for Good Counsel. Fakes the handoff, and some pressure is going to force him to once again short arm it. And we're going to have maybe the same situation. The official did not throw a flag that time. I thought that might have been what happened just a few plays ago with Devin Bertrand, trailing the play, underthrown ball, made contact just before the ball got there. That one was closer to simultaneous, but I still would have said that our guy got there a little early.
Oh, he definitely got there a little early. But usually you'll see refs give a little sympathy on those for 2 reasons. One, the receiver had a shot at it, right? He actually had a real opportunity to catch it. It hit both of his hands. And number 2, the defender was pretty close to meeting him at the same time as the ball, so they can kind of look the other way and let that slide, because they know for a fact that it's a bad throw, right? It's almost close to an uncatchable ball, but not quite.
It's a quarterback who clearly has been watching Patrick Mahomes over the course of his career. A lot of underthrown balls to Tyreek Hill back when he was
fumble.
A Chief. Fumble.
He re-recovered.
Okay, he must have gotten it back quickly. Must have been one of those vacuum cleaner fumbles like Madden back in the day.
Actually, I apologize. That was a shoe coming off.
Okay.
I saw something going flying on the ground there. I wasn't sure what that was.
Well, all in all, a decent return for DeMatha. Sets them up past the 25-yard line at the 27, and it'll be 1st and 10 there for the Stags. This will be officially their 3rd possession. They had a continuance on their last possession after a penalty extended the drive.
This will be interesting to see what they go game plan-wise. They try to strike quick, or if they're going to try to grind down the field here.
Give to Coombs. He's going to try and drag a couple defenders. Got an extra yard or 2 after contact. It'll be 2nd down and 6. And DeMatha is going to bring, that looks like Michael Boxley coming onto the field. He's listed as a linebacker and a fullback for the Stags. So DeMatha's going to have a couple of guys in the backfield, an extra blocker up front. 2 receivers split to the bottom of your screen.
Again, Good Counsel and
no high safety
coverage
here, yeah. And Gardner are going to try and scramble through the line. Not much of an opening, but he did pick up a few. It'll set up a 3rd and probably call it 4 for DeMatha. Only picked up a couple.
They're really daring DeMatha to try to start running some of these quick pass plays and have the receivers beat the defenders one-on-one. It's a dangerous game they're playing a little bit, because with bringing heat and also playing man coverage, if you hit a quick slant, it's a touchdown slant. It's not a 5-yard gain slant.
And that's absolutely a part of LeVar Key's game. So you got to imagine that Luke Case is going to bring that out of the playbook at some point here soon. Gardner drops back. He's going to look deep. He's got a man wide open over the top. There was nobody back there to cover. And that is Josh Parker, the junior wide receiver, with a big touchdown play for the Stags.
To be totally honest, those are my favorite types of touchdowns, the ones that were never in question, right? You saw he was wide open. The closest defender was 6 yards under him.
With another receiver there to help block.
With another receiver there. Denzel did an awesome job of leading him down the field so that defender was never going to have a chance to catch up, and he basically could jog it all the way into the end zone uncontested. Those are always great because you know it also eliminates a lot of the opportunities for a penalty downfield, like a holding from another wide receiver, trying to hope to that they can.
Roughing the passer against good counsel.
And DeMatha gets roughing the passer there against good counsel. I'm going to assume that they're going to decline this penalty.
The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
I take it back. It's going to be enforced in the kickoff.
Yep. So from the 33-yard line, that's a 67-yard touchdown pass to Joshua Parker. DeMatha lines up for the extra point. Alex Amaya.
And the big part about this, too, and what I really like is I always liked coaches that tried to get down the field quick, kind of, when you're heading towards the end of a half here, because as a player, I'm looking at the clock right now. There's 7:40 left. And in my head, I'm doing the math of, hey, if we get our defense to give up only 1, maybe 2 first downs, and then they can get a turnover or get them to punt the ball, we got another shot at another score. That's always a good feeling as an offensive player.
And Amaya's extra point is good, and DeMatha has a 7-0 lead.
That's what we used to call in college when I was playing. We would call them X plays. We would usually refer to them as X plays because they're momentum changers, right? They're big plays. They're going to stick in guys' memories, both for DeMatha and, unfortunately, for good counsel. But you can build off of that, right? You can get some good momentum going, and they help swing momentum in the game.
So DeMatha will get set to kick off. Good counsel will be looking to respond.
They're actually going to be kicking off, it looks like, from the 45 of good counsel.
Yeah, you hope that Amaya just puts this through the end zone. That was a big penalty on good counsel, the roughing the passer, 15-yarder.
Yeah, I think with Amaya.
Question is, at this point, do you maybe actually try and pooch it up, into the sky and get your coverage team down there?
I think that would be a great call. I will say that's a pretty tough skill. I mean, I'd love to see Amaya give it a shot here, but also it's always a safe bet. Just kick it through the back of the end zone, then you got nothing to worry about. No mistakes can happen.
Yep. Amaya ready to go. The rest of the Stags ready to go. And he is going to put it through the end zone. Looked like it might have been just a little wide of the uprights,
Yeah,
but that was a pretty good kick.
About a 55-yard field goal if he was aiming there.
He had the distance.
He definitely had the distance.
He had the distance for that and maybe another 10 yards almost, probably at least 7.
He most certainly did. That was quite the kick. That was impressive.
Good counsel will start with the football from their own 20-yard
All
line.
right.
What I'm hoping to see here is I don't want to see DeMatha go into prevent defense, right?
Yeah, no reason to do that this early in the game. It's still plenty of time on the clock, and you want to still try and force good counsel to beat you. And they're going to run right up the gut, a terrific run by Joe Williams.
And that's what you don't want to see, right? We were playing 3 high coverage there. We had a lot of defenders in coverage. No one really bringing heat. No one playing tight to the line for our linebackers there. Those are the plays that kill you, right? The runs that are chipping off 12 yards, they're really hard to come back from.
So DeMatha's got 1 high safety, a nickel back, and a couple corners on this play. Close to being lined up in the neutral zone, but just on sides. And that pass over his intended receiver's head and out of bounds, back by the pole vault pit. Be 2nd down and 10 for good counsel at the 34-yard line.
Incomplete and out of bounds. Javonte Dance Anderson with pass coverage on the play.
I'll be curious to see what good counsel decides to go with here. It's 2nd and long. Their running game has been really strong. I wouldn't be surprised if they take it back to the ground on this one and try to clip off about 6 or 7 yards. DeMatha bringing some heat. Yep, they go back to the run. Good stop here by DeMatha. Oh, quarterback looked like he thought the ball might have come out too. But that's a big stop. DeMatha knew that might be coming. They ended up bringing pressure, picked the right side with the pressure to bring it to, and stuffed the hole immediately.
Forward progress does give the Falcons a yard on that play, so it'll be 3rd and 9 from the 35-yard line.
Still plenty of time on the clock here, too. If DeMatha ends up getting the ball back, they can definitely work their way down the field and not feel rushed. Oh, we got timeout DeMatha. This is, again, it looks like might have been a little misalignment here, judging from the reaction of the coach. But I also think it's a smart call in terms of saying, hey, we don't have to rush, right? Well, let's see what they come out with. Let's take a timeout. Let's strategize. Try to make the right call here. Give us our best chance of getting this ball back with decent field position, and let's go score again before half hits.
So it has been a long wait for us to get back on the air this year because the first 2 home games of the season were not here at the PG Sports and Learning Complex. I know one game was at Bowie State. I don't remember where the other game was, but finally the new turf field here is done and ready to go. Looks beautiful. They got a nice little logo out there at midfield. They never had that before. They got the Wayne K. Curry Sports and Learning Center icon at the 25s, or the 30s rather. And it is just nice to be back on air finally on DM Stags TV.
It's really excellent. Honestly, I got here early for the student cookout beforehand. I was a little worried that the parking lot was shut down. They had it all blocked off by a bunch of barricades.
Hit as he throws, and once again out of bounds ahead of his intended receiver, this time looking for Kobe Ellis. Great pressure by the Stags, and that'll force a 4th down.
That is huge. The Stags cannot give this quarterback time to look around. He's definitely been able to make some plays, and getting through and putting that pressure on him, especially on a 3rd down like that, such a momentum swing. The offense is going to head out there confident and excited with about over 6 minutes left to try to put up another score on good Counsel here.
Punt is fielded by the Stags and taken right upfield. Some good blocking and a couple slip tackles finally wrapped up, but not until he crosses the 40-yard line.
Excellent return there by LeVar Keys. That was really good.
Yep, Drew Wolven was the punter, but LeVar Keys with a terrific return for the Stags.
Again, and this is what you look for as a player. You know, if you're starting outside of your own 40, there's a real shot at getting to the end zone here. They got plenty of time. Clock is not a concern. Even they only have 1 timeout. That really doesn't matter with this much time on the clock. And then that 3rd down, like we were talking about, right, that was a situation where that timeout and that strategizing did pay off for him there.
So Denzel Gardner ready for the snap. Hands it off to Coombs, right up the gut, and somehow broke through the line. Looked like he was stood up, but burst through for an extra 4 yards after only initially gaining 2. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
That was a great 2nd, even 3rd effort by Bud there. One of the things that makes Bud really dangerous is his legs never stop going. So you can't just make contact with Bud. You have to actually make sure you wrap him up and that you kind of immobilize him and hope more people come to help you take him down, because he's not easy to take down. 3
receivers split down wide, and Gardner was going to try and find one of them, but batted down at the line of scrimmage. He was targeting number 14, Brandon Newman.
I like the thought there. Quick little pass. It was a really hard pass for Denzel to make, though. The defender right in his way. He actually tried to little bit of Patrick Mahomes sidearm there, I think, out to that the inside-most receiver, and definitely got a hand on it by the D end.
So DeMatha will stay with 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen and 1 wide up top. Gardner going long once again, and he has got his man. What a terrific catch.
One-handed all the way, too.
Number 85, Chase Irvin, with a terrific catch with the defender right on him.
That is a different level of concentration there. Those are the plays where you definitely know that player is in the zone right now. He eyed the ball the entire way in, never took his eyes off it, didn't worry about the defender, fought him off the whole time with his left hand, and brought it in one-handed with his right hand.
So there was a holding call against Good Counsel that was declined on the play. The defense on the actual play, though, was terrific by the cornerback. lot of hand fighting between both the receiver and the corner, but the corner was looking for the ball the whole time, so you were never going to get a pass interference call there. So an amazing job there by Irvin to concentrate on the ball and bring it in. DeMatha now set up with 1st and goal down at about the 7-yard line. Garner is going to give this one to Coombs, and
I think that's going to be a false start a little bit there. He looked like he's
Yep, shut down the play early and back him up 5 yards to the 13.
Honestly, Corey, I don't hate this. It actually gives DeMatha a little more room to work. It's always tough when you are inside of your own 10. You know that the other team is just going to be playing run, and even if you want to go pass, it's tough because you can't – any of those mid-level routes or deep routes pretty much come out of the equation.
Right.
Because you end up in the back of the end zone for them. So giving yourself a little bit more breathing room. You got about 22 yards here to play with. This is kind of ideal. Yeah,
I mean, you can still run the ball here on 1st down and hope that good counsel is a little bit more weary that you could pass. And that is what DeMatha is going to do. They're going to run off tackle to the left side. Coombs found a bit of a hole, takes it down inside the 5-yard line.
Quite honestly, this is probably a better outcome than the original 1st down that they had the penalty on, right? It looked like he was going to get stuffed pretty quickly in the backfield there. He got a couple extra yards out of that, setting up 2nd down inside of the 5 now.
Ball spotted at the left hash at the 4-yard line. Two receivers, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. Gardner ready for the snap. He's going to hand it off to Coombs again. He cuts it back. A little counterplay, and he is in for a touchdown.
Great read by Bud there. Being able to cut off of his blockers, make it all the way to the end zone. Basically, not really much of a question there once he found the hole that he was going to make it in. Defenders got their hands on him too late, and you're not going to stop his forward momentum before he reaches the end zone.
So a 4-yard score by Bud Coombs makes it 13-0, and now we await Amaya's extra point. And it is good.
Definitely feels like DeMatha has some good momentum going here. Putting up 14 points pretty quick. Doesn't really seem like good counsel has a great answer for him. Good counsel's not playing bad. DeMatha is just making some big plays here. Again, like I said, another big X play, right? One-handed catch. I forget the exact yardage, but that was definitely probably a 35 to 45-yard play on that catch to totally swing the momentum to DeMatha's favor on this possession.
We're still good. So after the last touchdown for the Stags, we got a roughing the passer call that moved our kick up 15 yards. This time we've got a penalty against DeMatha that's going to move us back 15 yards, so we've got a kick from the 25. We have kicked from the 40, from the opposing 45, and now from our own 25 today.
Yeah, this is definitely not a regular situation here. Honestly, just at the end of DeMatha's possession, I was going to remark on how great we've been doing in terms of not making stupid penalties and kind of making silly mistakes. This is the first one that they've made, right? These are the things that are very controllable that we need to be able to avoid. But overall, good counsels definitely hurt themselves more than DeMatha's hurt themselves.
So no chance to put this through the end zone this time. Let's see what Amaya's kickoff looks like. And he puts it on a line, keeps it low, and that is going to force good counsel to backtrack. Fahim Delane had to go way back to get it, but able to work back against his momentum to take it all the way near the 45-yard line. A terrific return for good counsel.
That was a big return. That's
really detrimental for DeMatha's defense here.
Yeah, again, and that's why a lot of times as an offensive or defensive player, you don't feel like those penalties on kickoffs really make a big difference. But They do. Your kicker has to keep it low, has to boot it further down the field, and the returner has more time to react to the defenders coming down the field, which really makes it easier for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing is even though you put it further back, now you've got more space. Your coverage team has to run further to cover, and so even though he was taken back, away from the end zone, he's trying to return it toward. He had plenty of time to reverse course and pick up some good blocks from his coverage team.
DeMatha lucked out there, though. They got a holding call against Good Counsel that backed him up quite a bit here.
Yep.
Yeah, returners you never want to give a lot of space to. Teams aren't putting their worst players back there. They're usually putting the best playmakers in the returning position.
Sends the tight end in motion, hands it off in that. Oh, no. Good fake. Had me fooled.
Great job by DeMatha to keep up the coverage. Honestly, I've been watching with you, Corey, too. They're Good Counsel's running back, with how small he is behind that big offensive line, it's really hard to tell sometimes whether he actually has the ball. And the quarterback is doing a good job of selling these fakes, too.
Yeah, he and the running back are both doing a good job of selling that. And that time, a laser with Kobe Ellis, the intended receiver, but a little too out in front, and it falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 now for the Falcons.
I'm not sure if a couple of these hits haven't gotten in this quarterback's head. He definitely seems like his throws right there, are a little off. He might be thinking about that pocket pressure and might be worried about the defenders. He doesn't really look like he's stepping into the throws a lot, and they're just flying on him.
Landon Allen, the intended receiver that time, and Rice way too tall, and it'll be 3rd down and 10 now. And this is a pretty critical spot for Good Counsel. You do not want to give the ball back in solid field position to the Stags when they're already up 14-0 with plenty of time once again to put together another drive here in this first half.
DeMatha going to play 3 high.
Rice gives it off, and pretty good running there by Joseph Williams. Just picks his way through the defense, but he is going to be short of the line to gain as Jermaine Minnis finally made the tackle about 2 yards short of the first down marker.
I mean, great run, but I'm a little surprised by the call. They've been Good Counsel hasn't been afraid of airing it out, it looks like, although, like I said, the quarterback doesn't seem like he's really on his targets right now. Great run, but definitely a smart choice to punt it. It definitely gave him better field position to hopefully pin DeMatha down a little bit.
Yeah, back on Good Counsel's first possession, they got a few nice completions. One of them was, a bit behind his receiver, but a couple others were good plays. They got a nice little bubble screen on their second possession, looking at the tight end. But they've struggled over these last 2 possessions to get Rice hooked up with any of his receivers. This time, LeVar Keys able to take it up to the sideline near midfield. It'll be a few yards shy. Unless they give him midfield. I thought he was a little short of it.
Yeah,
but,
I think they gave him midfield, which is great field position for DeMatha. Plenty of field to work with. Playbook's completely open here. You're not worried about time. You got 3 minutes and 22 seconds. You still have 1 timeout. Nothing really of concern here. They can play their game and they can try to work their way down the field again.
.322 to go here in the first half. 3 receiver splits at the bottom of your screen, and it is going to be a handoff right up the gut. Good tackling to hold up Bud Coombs on that play.
I wouldn't be surprised here if DeMatha is trying to eat a couple of clicks off the clock just to make sure that if Good Counsel does get the ball back, they don't have a lot of time to work with. It's probably not too much of the strategy right now since Good Counsel definitely has 3 timeouts left still, but you always like to feel them out a little bit, make sure they get not great field position if you do have to punt it back to them.
I'm sure there's also a little bit of confidence after the last 2 possessions of each netted a big play downfield in the passing game that you can throw the ball over top against this defense. This time Coombs breaks free. He's going to be right near the first down marker.
Great run and cut there by Bud. Saw the hole, made a move around the defender, getting it up. This is a great situation here. You got 1 yard to deal with. You got one of the best running backs in the WCAC in the backfield. I think it's kind of a common you don't really have to think much about this call. You know it's probably going to be going to Bud again, hopefully getting 1 yard out of this.
Yep. 3rd down and 1 at the 41-yard line.
Looks like Good Counsel's planning for that too. They're stacking the box right now.
And it is a handoff to Coombs, who's going to run way outside, but he found the edge and gets not only that 1 yard, but another 6 or 7 to boot.
But Bud trying to scare me a little bit there with cutting back into the backfield, but really smart decision. Knew he had the speed to get to the edge. Instead of just getting that 1 yard, he ends up getting a pretty big gain there for DeMatha. It's a really great play by Bud Coombs.
So DeMatha will give Coombs a breather on the sideline here.
Yeah, good counsel knew that was coming, and they just kept too many people inside the box. They didn't have contain on Bud.
And Gardner gives it off right up the middle. I believe that was Elijah Lee. Hard to see the numbers from this angle, but yes, number 21 is Lee. Picks up about 5 yards, and we are down now to about 1:40 to go in this first half. Still 27 yards to pay dirt.
I love this drive from DeMatha. This is really smart. The O-line is carrying their weight. They are pushing the D-line around. Honestly, it looks like good counsel's getting a little tired out there. They're not reacting as quick. They don't have the same level of adrenaline and excitedness that they had at the beginning of the game.
DeMatha's got 1 timeout to play with. The hand to Lee once again. Not much running room, but he's able to duck and scoot forward for about 3. It'll be 3rd down and short.
Good counsel's definitely feeling it. I just saw, watching the defensive end, the high defensive end come around the play. They were flying around here on the first quarter, and that defensive end hesitated. He almost looked like he was worried that he was going to get cut back against and get beat to the outside, which was never in question. He would have been flying down the line usually in the first quarter.
Another handoff, and looks like Coombs did a really good job to carry the defender across the line to gain. Donovan Moyer was the senior defensive end in on that tackle, but Coombs forced him forward, and he picks up the first down. And now DeMatha moves into the hurry-up with just 30 seconds left to play in this first half. Gardner going to scramble, and he's going to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Really smart move there. He knew where the clock was at. He knew he had a certain amount of time to look downfield, and if he didn't see anything, take a hole. And he was able to get through the offensive line and basically could walk over to the sideline and stop the clock and not have to worry about burning a timeout. Great veteran move.
At this point, DeMatha is in Amaya's field goal range. He missed one earlier at the end of a very successful first drive that we unfortunately missed most of.
I was announcing here by myself.
Again, we do have it recorded. We will get the full game minus the first play or two on DM Stags TV later today, as that pass is down to the goal line, just a little bit short of the end zone, and it's broken up. A nice defensive play and coverage, and that'll force DeMatha to line up for a 3rd down and 7 here with 18 seconds to play inside the 20-yard line.
I'll be curious to see what DeMatha does here. They do have that 1 timeout.
Yep.
The run has been working. It wouldn't hurt them to take a shot at the run here. I don't think they're going to, right? It's not the most likely call. They are playing good counsel's playing too high, so here we go.
They did run, and Coombs is picking his way through everything, and he's got a first down to about the 5. DeMatha's going to have to burn that timeout, and now it's decision time. Do you take a shot to the end zone here before you send the kicking unit out there?
Definitely, yes. You got 11 seconds on the clock. Even a long play for DeMatha is going to run them maybe to 9 seconds. You're probably going to have a minimum of 2 seconds left on the clock. This is, again, why you love having a veteran quarterback, right? You can go out to Denzel. You can tell Denzel, hey, listen, we got 11 seconds. You have that internal timer, right? We're going to call a pass play. If you don't see anything open in the first 6 seconds, you got to get rid of the ball.
Yeah,
right?
One thing you cannot do here.
Take a sack. Can't get tackled inbounds. That's all that matters is do not get tackled inbounds. Have that internal clock and just count down, right? You get a free play, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and you're going to walk away with 3 points.
So the one thing that does factor in here, if DeMatha does not get in the end zone, but they are able to get an incomplete pass, whatever, they have time to send the kicker out there. The ball is lined up on the right hash at the 5-yard line. That's going to be an interesting angle for Amaya on the field goal attempt if it comes to that.
It's definitely not the easiest angle, but luckily there's no wind in play tonight. So he's with his leg and his accuracy. I think that's not going to be much of an issue. Probably not much of a factor DeMatha has taken into consideration.
Single back,
Yep, going for the fade
and
route.
Gardner, quick throw,
Got
and
him.
he's got him. Number 5, LeVar Keys, goes up and gets it.
That was a straight up. It is going to be one-on-one. Who's the better player, right? We are going to bet money that LeVar's going to be the better player in that situation. Denzel trusted him the entire way. He had 2 options there. He could have put it up high and tried to have LeVar outrun the defender, or he could have put it on his back shoulder and have LeVar basically make the exact catch you just saw him make, right? That quick turn and grab before the defender could react. That was an excellent decision by Denzel because it was good coverage by the defender. But LeVar was the better athlete on that one.
And Amaya's extra point is good. 21-0, and just a kickoff left to get us to halftime.
These are always the moments as an offensive player I'd hold my breath, right? We have all the momentum, 21 points. There's 7 seconds left. You know that you got to kick this ball off downfield. You don't want any silly plays happening here on special teams. And as long as you can walk off the field after this kick, with good counsel, in normal kind of kickoff position, you're going to feel pretty good going into the locker room at halftime. I'm almost curious if they're going to do a squib kick here. Try to keep it out of the returner's hands.
Yeah.
Get the ball on the ground quicker and try to burn off in a couple extra seconds on the clock too. I was always one of the guys in like the second rows. It's like you have decent hands, but we don't want you returning the ball type of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Kick
Exactly.
it to one of them.
Yep.
You didn't want me returning a football. That would have been a pretty ugly sight to see.
So the 4th time today, DeMatha is lined up to kick off, and this will be the first time that they have kicked off from a yard line that they have previously kicked off from.
That's incredible. I predict that this will happen at least one more time this year. It's a bold prediction, Con. Let's see if it happens.
Yep, squib kick, just as you predicted, and it'll be the 3rd line, number 13 on the return, trying to find a little bit of an edge, but a good tackle right there.
Great job, actually. He did some work for DeMatha there because by taking it to the far side of the field, he burned off the entire clock for DeMatha.
Yep.
Don't even have to worry about if they're going to run a play or take a knee here to go into halftime.
Yeah, DeMatha takes it to halftime with a 21-0 lead. Happy to be here with you, and we're going to take a short break and be back at the end of this halftime break. Thank you so much for joining us here on DM Stacks TV.
A DeMatha student is a man with pride in himself as a gentleman, a scholar, and a member of the community.
He not only represents himself and his family, but also his fellow classmates, his teachers, his coaches, the alumni, and the Trinitarian Order.
As our school grows and prospers, he will be entrusted with caring for the tradition of excellence that he has inherited.
He shall be a leader, whose commitment and discipline will show him to be a man of honor and integrity.
A DeMatha student sets goals for himself as a scholar, a teammate, a classmate, and a man.
To attain these goals, he bases his life on the principles of hard work, sacrifice, determination, service, and selflessness.
These ideals will help him achieve a level of excellence that will not be matched and that will earn him respect as an individual.
A DeMatha student is a man of action and a man of prayer, who accepts readily the challenges of the world.
He takes responsibility for himself and others.
He always has his priorities in the proper order. He respects those who have come before him, is devoted to those who are with him now, and is conscious of those who will follow him in the future.
He is courageous in the face of adversity.
He is humble before the presence of God.
He is steadfast in his service to others.
He's a faith-filled gentleman and a scholar.
Work with the student activities department, we work with the counseling center, we work with the dean's office, we work with outside DeMatha organizations, lots of them to support us and to help us better understand how to meet our students. So trying to provide ways for them to grow in brotherhood, trying to meet their emotional and spiritual needs, right? So we learn from each other to kind of do that. And certainly I work with outside organizations to help with service hours, to help point us towards the challenges our communities face so that I can better help the students understand what God is calling them to do in our community.
Hi, I'm French, and I'm here with Lavakis. How the team looking going against the game against good Counsel?
We're looking good. It's just another game. It's a homecoming game, so you know it's gonna be bigger environment. But I mean, it's just another game for us. We're gonna show up. How we show up all the time.
All right. Do you have a predicted score? I don't have a predicted score, but I mean, we're just gonna run it. We're gonna run up the scoreboard like we did against Roman Catholic. We're gonna keep that going. But I predicted 28-6. They gonna get 2 field goals. That's it. Defense not letting them score. All right. We hope y'all pull through with the win. All right. Good luck. Sir, appreciate it.
As a library director, how do you influence and help kids when they come into the library?
There are multiple ways to influence them. I just want them to be able to come into a library space. I've been a library professional for many years. So we're college students, high school students, elementary school students, and the public. And it's the same. When they come to the library, they want to feel like it's a comfortable space, it's a safe space, and that they're free to ask any questions they need, whether it's accessing materials or it's finding their interests, finding out about themselves and their interests. So that's how I would influence them when they come in.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And we are back getting ready for a second half of action here in DeMatha's homecoming game against the Good Counsel Falcons. Scott Sickle will be back with us in the booth in just a moment. In the meantime, as DeMatha gets set to kick off here to start the second half, quick rundown of how we got to this point in the game. DeMatha leading 21-0. DeMatha started the scoring with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter with a 67-yard touchdown pass from Denzel Gardner to Josh Parker. Just a couple minutes later, 3 minutes later, in fact, at 4:31 on the clock, Bud Coombs with a 4-yard touchdown run. And then with 7 seconds to go in the first half, LeVar Keys went up top and pulled down a 5-yard touchdown pass from Denzel Gardner to make it 21-0. Some good kicking here so far for DeMatha from Alex Amaya. 3 for 3 on extra point attempts, though he did miss a field goal back in the at the beginning of the half of the first quarter. DeMatha had a really strong opening drive of the game, put it deep into Good Counsel territory before Amaya missed the field goal. And then we had a little bit of a defensive battle for about a quarter and a half until DeMatha finally got on the board. But 3 touchdown passes in the second half of the second quarter, and now Good Counsel needs to try and eat into that lead. And this first down run for Good Counsel by Joe Williams is not going to give them a whole lot. He did fight forward for 3. They're actually going to give him 4 yards, so not a terrible first down run. You're ahead of the chains at 4 yards on the first carry.
Not too bad, but a little more of the same here. I'm going to be really curious to see if the quarterback can get anything going because they really need him to at this point.
Well, they struggled over the course of the second quarter in the pass game. A lot of passes either too far in front or way over the heads of his receivers. And this time, DeMatha does a great job to set the edge. And I think it was Jacob Wallace who finally tugged down Joe Williams.
Great job by DeMatha's defense there. At this point, DeMatha's up 21 points. There's a lot of time left, but if you're going to try to run against this DeMatha defense with how they're playing today, that's probably not going to be a successful strategy. You definitely need the defense to be able to back them off here a little bit. They need a couple of decent-sized completions here. It looks like they might be lining up to do one right now with twins formation.
Snap, throw, and intercepted right to the defender, and a free run to the end zone.
That was one of the best passes I've seen all night. Just the wrong receiver.
I believe, is that number 6 down there? It's kind of hard for me to tell.
Kind of hard for us.
Yes, it was. Yep. Number 6, Noah Chambers, a 27-yard interception return for a touchdown.
That's just judging from that play, the quarterback is definitely off his game tonight for Good Counsel. Noah Chambers, I don't even think he had to move his feet to make that catch.
No, it was thrown right to him.
Like I said, wonderful pass. Perfect. The problem was just the wrong person.
Yep. We'll call that officially a 29-yard interception return for a touchdown. He was just shy of the 30-yard line when he brought that in. And, yeah, that was actually number 10, Brady Cox, a freshman quarterback for Good Counsel, who the Falcons had brought into the game, who threw that pass.
That makes a lot more sense. I was going to say, I'm surprised the veteran WCAC quarterback would make that throw. There was definitely a full second level there of the defense with the linebackers basically all had their feet planted. They didn't have to drop that far back because it was just going to be a short pass. And the pass went directly to a DeMatha defender, which personally I have no complaints about, but they might want to come up with a different game plan if they're trying to make this game competitive.
Well, in the past, let's see, a minute 19 plus 740 with this English math here. This English department math.
I'll trust you.
That is 8 minutes and 59 seconds, during which time DeMatha has scored 28 points, just shy of 9 minutes of game time. Quite a slew of scoring for the Stags. And as you predicted, we've now actually had 2 more kicks from a yard line that DeMatha has previously kicked from.
I'm not saying I'm a fortune teller, but I think the evidence speaks for itself.
It is a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
I think you would have been about a minus 1,000 on any of the sports books.
Oh, yeah, that's why I don't gamble at all. I just consider it donating money to large companies if I even thought about doing it.
Basically. So that kick ends up skipping through the end zone, and DeMatha will get started at the 20-yard line. Was a penalty, or I'm sorry, Counsel will start at the 20-yard line.
Is that freshman quarterback still in?
Looking on the field, and no, it looks like they have brought Jackson Rice back into the game, number 5 in the backfield for Good Counsel.
Kind of wondering what the rationale was with bringing out that freshman. Maybe just to Jackson, Ross was having a little bit of an off game, wasn't making great passes, and they were going to give the freshman a try. But that kind of messes with the quarterback's head, though, too, being
right
off the field.
Yeah, anytime you're going on and off. I mean, we've seen occasions in the NFL where you've got 2 quarterbacks who are kind of going back and forth, and it usually does not go particularly well.
See if he can get in a rhythm here, because he's going to need to.
So a little jet.
Great job by DeMatha's
sweep
defense
there. And,
yeah. Secondary read it perfectly. The timing was a little off. The blockers for Good Counsel were a little too far in front of the receiver coming across there for the handoff, or I'd say the forward toss.
Yeah.
It didn't time up well, and the defender was able to get through unscathed to make that tackle.
So here we are in a situation that we kind of talked about back in the early in the second quarter, when DeMatha took a timeout on 3rd down and medium deep in Good Counsel territory. We talked at that point about maybe not using those timeouts in the second half, but clearly in a 28-0 game, maybe you're not as worried about it coming down to such a small margin as we're getting toward the end of the fourth quarter.
Timeouts are so situational. It's how you use them. Coaches have different strategies and theories. You can go by statistics and what works best and all these different things. But you also have to know your team, right? The personality of your team. You're in a place right now where basically you're looking at the scoreboard saying, we're 4 scores ahead right now, right? It took us an entire quarter to get 3 scores. If we can go up 5, Good Counsel is going to have basically very few opportunities to make this competitive.
So now it is a 3rd and 10 for Good Counsel. Man in motion. Rice is going to roll out to his right and nowhere close to his intended target, who I have to assume was Rowan Walsh, number 88, the junior tight end. But that ball was not really close to any receiver on the field for Good Counsel. To that point, our PA announcer here said Kobe Ellis was the intended receiver, and that honestly could have been almost anybody.
Put it this way, it wasn't the guy in DeMatha this time. You
No.
know that. But,
yeah.
But I will say these Good Counsel quarterbacks, they definitely seem. I'm not sure what it is, if they're just out of sync, if they're overthinking stuff, but
They've gotten very out of rhythm after some nice rhythm passes back in the first quarter for them. They're completely out of their rhythm, and that's a testament to the job that DeMatha's defense is doing through the second quarter and now here into the third. As we get a short return here by LeVar Keys, we'll take it to about the 43-yard line of Good Counsel. So DeMatha back in plus territory.
I do know Good Counsel. I think they have one of their top players out this game.
Yeah, number 2, Demarion Folks, their senior wide receiver, unavailable today, which is a pretty big blow. Talking to some of our coaches earlier today. They were saying like he's really their best player, and so not having him is obviously a huge hit to the Falcons. Falcons coming into this game 4-3. DeMatha at 5-1, looking to move to 6-1 and remain unbeaten in the conference. Coming off of a big win at Gonzaga last week, DeMatha will be playing St. John's next, and then we'll be back here on DM Stags TV on November 1st for a matchup with McNamara. That will conclude our regular season as we get set for the playoffs.
This is interesting because right now, in terms of how DeMatha has been playing, they are definitely timing it up well for the end of the season run. This is not a bad Good Counsel team. I know it sounds a bit of an oxymoron, as being part of their name is good, but the idea being is that this DeMatha team is making a statement with this game. It definitely seems like they want this game to basically be out of hand by the end of the third quarter. It looks like here.
Yeah, and last week DeMatha got a 28-14 win against Gonzaga. Not a blowout by any stretch, but also a comfortable margin of victory. So DeMatha feeling very good at this stage in their WCAC schedule. 3rd down and 8 here for the Stags, right on the 40-yard line. Gardner takes the snap, and he'll hand off again to Coombs. And Coombs finds a hole and breaks through, carries 2 defenders for a couple extra yards, 3 defenders, in fact, on that tackle. And Coombs up near the 25-yard line. Officially, they'll place it on the 26.
Great job by Bud there. He actually could have gotten a little bit more out of that if the receiver had stuck on his block. The receiver kind of peeled back, thinking that the chasing defender was going to get him and tried to help there. But if he had stayed on the defender that was covering him, Bud could have probably bumped that out and might have been in the house on that carry. But you can't hate, a good 15, 20-yard gain right there from Bud Coombs.
Especially on 3rd down and 8. Keep the chains moving, keep our offense on the field, and continue running that clock, which is what we're doing. We're not in any rush to get the next snap off. Gardner takes it. Once again, Coombs with the run. He finds the edge, and now he is off and running and not quite going to get to the end zone. Driven out of bounds down around the 4-yard line.
He wants that end zone. You can tell he is fighting for it. He was making that full spin move, not to break the tackle, but to stay in bounds the entire time and try to get all the way to the end zone there.
Trying to get a second rushing touchdown on his ledger. He already has one from 4 yards out, and now DeMatha at the 5-yard line, threatening to make this a 5-touchdown game with the extra point, knock on wood, we would have a running clock at that point.
I'm going to guess a Bud Coombs carry here.
You would guess right, and this time Counsel rather, they also guessed right, and they will wrap Coombs up, maybe even in the backfield for a short loss.
It's always a bad sign when an offensive lineman's walking back to the huddle with both hands up.
Yeah, looks like there was a penalty on the field.
No? I don't think it was a penalty.
Okay.
I think he was getting a bit of a warning there.
Okay.
But I think it might have been a little extracurriculars after the whistle was blown.
There you go. So DeMatha will line back up now. 2nd down and goal from closer to the 7-yard line. So it was a loss of close to 2 on that last run. Coombs got back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard on that carry.
They're daring DeMatha to throw the ball. They're bringing everyone in the box. They're going one-on-one coverage on the outside. If they come in the same alignment, I would love to see a quick slant here to LeVar on the low side of the field here. I think he's gonna take this matchup if they are going to bring everyone in the box and try to just stop Bud Coombs. But also, I don't think DeMatha is in a rush here. If they put 3 up, that's still going to put them 5 scores up. They're definitely have the ability to still control the game if Bud takes another run here and eats a little more time off the clock.
So they moved LeVar Keys up to the top of your screen. And they are going to throw. He ran the slant route that you were looking for, and instead looking over to number 21, Elijah Lee, the running back out of the backfield. But Justin Thompson, the senior linebacker for Counsel, had great coverage on that play.
Yeah, that's tough. They definitely weren't going to go to LeVar there with that under center play action. It's just it doesn't give the quarterback enough time to get his shoulders back around. Plus, he's on the short side of the field. It's not going to help much in terms of giving him room to work. But what I do like to see here is I do like to see DeMatha going for this.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where you could consider running up the score, but you could also consider trying to get to that running clock so we can get out of here a little bit sooner, get everybody off the field hopefully more safely.
Yep.
There's a reason to do this besides trying to run it up on your opponent. And there's a handoff, and good Counsel with a great job. Donovan Moyer, the defensive end, met Coombs in the backfield or right around the line of scrimmage, and good Counsel is going to take over on downs.
That's kind of a no harm, no foul, though, Corey. I made the mistake earlier saying that it would have put DeMatha up 5 scores if they got the field goal. It's really not right considering 2-point conversions. When you take those into account statistically, it's not really worth it to take that field goal.
No.
As a coach, right, or even a former player, I would like to see the confidence of our coach saying, hey, we trust you to do something smart here on 4th and goal. Worst case scenario, this is it, right?
Yeah, you're giving the ball to Good Counsel, but in terrible field position, backed up against their own goal line.
With a quarterback that hasn't been in sync all night besides the first quarter.
Yep. So to that end, Jackson Rice on the field, and he's going to give this off, and nothing doing. Maybe a yard out of that run. Got it up close to the 8-yard line.
What's really noticeable up here, and just from a former player perspective, is the energy level of each team. Good Counsel came out all cylinders firing. It looked like they were going to match DeMatha's energy the entire game. That was going to make it a close game. DeMatha still has their energy. They don't look tired out there. They're not bending over. They're not taking a lot of deep breaths. Good Counsel just seems a little lethargic right now.
Yeah, DeMatha had that big first drive, and then after the missed field goal, Good Counsel, to your point, was driving down the field. They got a few nice pass plays, some good runs, and then you had a situation where Rice has to roll out, throw against his body. He ended up short-arming it, and a great play by Wallace to get the interception. And ever since then, momentum just completely shifted. Even as DeMatha's offense stalled on a couple of drives, Good Counsel's offense couldn't get anything going after that.
Definitely, yeah. And I don't know about you, Corey, but I'll be curious to hear your opinion. I almost like it when coaches kind of try to change stuff up when they see this happening. Like go into more of a speed, kind of hurry-up offense. Just try to tire out the defense. Get your offense kind of help them stop thinking almost.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a great point there, and that is a terrific catch there on the far sideline. I think that's number 19?
I think it was Kobe Ellis.
He said Kobe Ellis is number 13. I thought that was number 19, Jeremy Allen. Regardless, a terrific catch there along the sideline for Good Counsel. But yeah, I mean, and here they go. They're kind of going to that hurry-up offense, trying to get the defense on their toes, tire them out. It's pretty well known that the defense tires out a little bit quicker than the offense because as a player on the offense, you have more control over what's going on. The defense has to react, and that is exhausting.
Yeah.
So trying to keep them on their toes is really going to be the move here if you want to try and get anything going with your offense at this point in the game. Definitely take advantage of any little bit of momentum that you can build off of a big play downfield, and that's just what they got there. A nice run on first down to set up 2nd and 3.
Sometimes, too, the hurry-up makes you feel like you're kind of you're making your own momentum, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just as a player, it's almost better to have less time to think, and just make it more natural, more focus on your athleticism and more of a reaction. But yeah, on defense, definitely, it's definitely easier to get the defense a little more tired here too.
Solid defense here on 2nd down, but Good Counsel does get a gain of 2, and it'll be 3rd down and short.
Jordan Gill is in the box with us right now, and he is trying to pump up our egos. Apparently someone's commenting that we're doing a good job.
And we appreciate that for sure.
I definitely tried to set low expectations to be able to clear that bar. I make sure Corey knows that, no, I'm not going to bring a lot of great perspective in, and he's going to have to carry me the whole way.
Not at all. Speaking of Jordan Gill, class of 2015, a new member of DeMatha's faculty, and huge help for me with our video broadcast journalism class. He's kind of been leading that class so far this year, which has been excellent. He's doing a good job, and definitely happy to have somebody here who is as enthusiastic as he is. He is communicating with all of our cameramen to try and get the best angles possible during our broadcast, and so far I would say that we're probably doing a little better job than we did last year, just because we do have a means of communicating with those cameramen. Last year, we really didn't have a way of doing that. You had to coach them up beforehand, and now we can give them live feedback, which is awesome. And that is thanks to Jordan ordering some walkie-talkies for us to use. I don't know what that means that I didn't think of that before.
It means that you're doing about 30 other things. That's all that means. Now, I will say, Jordan, I think you're at about doing 25 different things for DeMatha. So
he's catching up quick.
Just to let you know, you got about 5 more slots in there before you're going to be filled out. But we appreciate everything you're doing. You're being an absolute rock star for us this year.
So after a solid first down play, DeMatha drives Good Counsel back on 2nd. It'll set up a 3rd and 9 for Good Counsel. Trying to keep the momentum of this drive going. And Rice fakes the pass after handing off up the gut, and a good drive toward the line to gain by Williams. He's going to be right there at the marker. I think he got it, but it's hard to tell from this angle.
Yeah, it's going to be real close. They're saying he got it. So
Yep.
they're going to bring the chains forward for a first down here.
Yeah, it's hard at this angle to really see for sure. You can't look down the line, but I knew he was very close to the 30-yard line, and they need to get down in that area. So officially the 32, and a fresh set of downs for the Falcons.
DeMatha needs to do one of two things here. They either need to get a stop or they need to make sure that Good Counsel doesn't score before the quarter's out. If you go into the fourth quarter and they still need to get 4 scores on you, you know it's going to be a really uphill battle for Good Counsel to come back. But DeMatha's losing that spark a little bit right now. You can see guys are taking hits a little bit instead of delivering the hits. They're expecting this game to kind of coast to a finish line, and I don't think Good Counsel's gotten that message just quite yet. They're starting to find their spark a little bit, actually, on this drive.
Yeah, this has been the most successful drive Good Counsel has had all night, even more so than their first offensive drive of the game. So now we've got a 2nd down and 4 inside the 15-yard line. The handoff, and good job by DeMatha. Joe Williams had nowhere to go off to the right side of the line of scrimmage.
That was a big stop because it's probably going to take us maybe one more play before the quarter's out. We'll see if Good Counsel jogs their guys off to the sideline or not.
Credit James Pace with that tackle, and with Good Counsel not seeming to rush to get a play in, and time winding down, we are going to see the end of the 3rd quarter, and we're going to have a little ways to travel to switch sides of the field here for the 4th quarter of play.
I get why coaches do that, why they wait for the quarter to end, but as a player, I hated it. It was always in my mindset, you're getting a free timeout, right? The quarter's the quarter's going to give you a free timeout. It's like we're not on a big down like a 4th down or anything like that. It's like let's try to get another play in here, make something happen. And
especially when you're trailing, you're trying to get in there. If you can, if you happen to get in the end zone here, now you get a chance to actually take a little timeout. Maybe you can get in the end zone with a 2nd left on the clock. Now the kickoff isn't taking any time off the clock for you.
Exactly right. And that's the whole thing. It's little things, and it's you have to take player psychology into this definitely when you're thinking about coaching, different coaching aspects and everything like that. But the fact that there's 12 minutes left on the clock, it's 28-0. Good Counsel has the ball on DeMatha's 15, 3rd down. And what are we looking at here? About 4 yards to go. It's definitely looking good for DeMatha here, obviously, in terms of the outcome of the game. But I would really love to see DeMatha finish strong here, get a good stop on 3rd down. If I'm Good Counsel, you got to go for it on 4th down at this point. But we have to see what ends up happening with this down. I'm going to be kind of curious to see if they stick to the run here or if they actually try to air it out and catch DeMatha by surprise, because they've been marching on the field with the running plays. One big pass play, obviously, but that's about it.
You're in that range where you can really go either way. The playbook is wide open. It's 3rd down. The ball is right on the 15. You have to get just past the 12. So you're basically talking 3+ yards that you need to gain here. You can run anything, and as you said, they've been running the ball really well. They're going to fake the handoff, and the pass is complete. And a few yards gained after the catch will take him to the 15, and a 1st and goal. Nice play there, a nice catch by Corey Smith.
Yep, good routes run on the bottom of your screen there by Good Counsel. DeMatha was banking on the run there. They were playing a 1-high man coverage. They had crossing patterns occurring between the 2 split low receivers here. That's a really hard route to cover for defenders.
Yeah, not the best pass. The receiver did have to put himself in a bit of a vulnerable situation, but he made the play, and that sets up a 5-yard touchdown run by Joe Williams. And Good Counsel on the board here in the 4th quarter.
I dare say DeMatha's defense is tired.
That was a very long drive, a lot of plays. Even with the big play, you think that cuts down on the number of plays. They ran a lot of plays on that drive.
Well, and they were chipping away with a lot of run plays, and that's going to grind those defensive linemen down. They're going for the extra point here, but the defense is going to definitely be excited to get off the field, get off their feet, get some water, take a little breath. Hopefully the offense can get a couple 1st downs here, possibly on the ground with Bud, and give the defense a good break here because they're going to need it.
The extra point good by Drew Wolven, and it is 28-7.
That was definitely no major errors by DeMatha's defense, but just a kind of a lack of execution on a couple of plays. giving up a couple big runs, that big pass. The coverage wasn't even bad. It was a good reception by the receiver. Those are going to happen. You just got to kind of can't give up those 6-7 yard runs, especially when they're converting them for first downs. DeMatha's going to have to figure it out here. Looks like they're taking a little extra time here on special teams too, trying to get these guys focused and trying to get them hyped up to get good field position here, because if DeMatha, again, can get another score on the board, it really puts it out of reach, I think, for Good Counsel.
That was a really important drive for Good Counsel after DeMatha really ran a good amount of time off the clock on their last offensive possession that finished inside the 10-yard line, just couldn't punch it into the end zone. And Good Counsel had to drive something like 94 yards to get that touchdown, and they did that. The downside for them is that their drive also took quite a bit of time off the clock, thanks to a lot of their success coming in the run game. So here we've got, I believe, LeVar Keys returning. No, that was Jacob Wallace returning, and he took it past the 30-yard line, sets up DeMatha with solid field position.
The only thing that makes me, again, just little thoughts you have in your head here, the quarterback for Good Counsel seems to be getting back into a rhythm. And if you make this a dual threat offense for Good Counsel, it's going to cause definitely some problems for DeMatha. If DeMatha ends up going 3 and out here, or Good Counsel gets the ball back quickly in some way, that's kind of the worst case scenario.
Elijah Lee will begin this drive in DeMatha's backfield as the running back, and he will take that handoff and push his way forward, bullies his way through the line for about 5.
That was a good, tough run, just straight downhill. Basically easy 5 yards in terms of just get those legs moving and churn through the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 5 for the Stags. 4 wide receivers set. Lee remains in the backfield. And he'll take it again, and Good Counsel ready for him this time. He is able to fall forward for about a yard. Yeah, they gave him a yard there.
Good Counsel's definitely showing some respect to DeMatha's passing game in that set, too. I think that was playing too high. Looks like they're going back to a too high coverage here. They don't have a ton of guys in the box to stop the run. I wouldn't be surprised if DeMatha ends up going back to the run, especially moving to the trips here.
And they will do just that, running off tackle, and a great run there by Elijah Lee. Found the hole, broke through for the first down and more. Close to midfield, will be a couple yards short.
That's a call that you really gotta give some credit to the offensive coordinator on that one, Coach Luke Casey. Motioning that man into trips coverage, pulled the linebacker out of the box on that side of the play, and basically didn't give him leverage on the play so he could come up and make a tackle easily. Gave Elijah plenty of room to run.
It's Andrew Newman in motion for the Stags. Gardner takes the snap. Lee stays in the game at running back, ducks under the tackler, and pushes his way forward close to the first down marker, and I think he's got another one.
I dare say I think DeMatha's figured something out here. You move those receivers around a little bit, and those linebackers at the second level of Good Counsel's defense have to shift to make sure that they're getting proper coverage on those wide receivers that are motioning towards them. And it's causing some problems. It's causing some gaps, some holes. I wouldn't say they're easy runs for Elijah Lee by any means in terms of the yards. He's fighting for every inch, but they are creating enough of a gap where he's able to make some pretty sizable gains here.
It's back-to-back plays of 10-plus yards on the ground for Elijah Lee and this DeMatha offense, as DeMatha will stay with the 4 wide receivers set. This time you got 3 receivers to the top of your screen.
I think Good Counsel doesn't want him running this.
Yeah, no high safeties, nobody even outside of 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, and this time they are ready in the backfield for Lee. Takes him down for a loss of 2, maybe 3.
They weren't hiding anything. That was an all-out blitz. They brought the linebacker straight up to the line of scrimmage there, basically put him in all the gaps, and they were daring DeMatha to run at him on that one. What do you think, Corey, in terms of this situation, Lee? Are you in the mindset of from a defensive perspective, would Good Counsel want to keep blitzing here, or do they want to start dropping back into coverage and start worried about giving up touchdowns?
I think it looks like they're going to continue blitzing, I don't dislike that decision at this point. Just put pressure on them, sell out everything you can to try and stop this drive right here. This time Gardner's going to fake the handoff and go over top to LeVar Keys, who's got the catch inside the 5-yard line.
And that is the exact danger of that situation, right? Is when you decide to keep going all-out blitz. Once you do it, you can surprise them once. But if you're going to line up in that formation and it's a dead giveaway, if your lineman can just hold up for that extra couple of second or two, give a quarterback like Denzel enough time, he's going to make a play, especially with a receiver like LeVar Keys, who just outmaneuvered his man on a simple go route. It was simple as that. He stutter stepped him, made him hold up for a second, and then it was just a race, and he won the race.
Kellen Frazier had really good coverage on that play for good counsel, but a terrific pass by Gardner just over his shoulder and a great concentration catch by LeVar Keys to pull that in. And now DeMatha set up at about the 2-yard line, maybe the 3. I think they're at the 2. But this run is going to go nowhere, and DeMatha will have a 2nd down and goal.
That's okay. Eat up a little bit more time here. You see DeMatha going back to the motion, right, trying to make those linebackers shift a little bit, cause some discomfort in that second level of the defense, hoping for another gap to open up.
No gain on the play.
So ball still right around the 3-yard line or so, and Lee pushes through. No signal from the officials. They're saying
like
down,
yeah,
just shy.
DeMatha wasn't hiding anything there. They lined up in a power I formation.
And now DeMatha has an offensive lineman down in the end zone, and trainer's heading out to take a look at him.
Yeah, that's you always hate to see that, and you know that those plays are dangerous plays.
Yeah, I mean, when you're that close to the goal line, there's nowhere else for you to really go other than just, head-to-head against each other, and that's a lot of contact.
Yeah, it becomes a pile, and the two things that you always worry about in that situation are, number one, a running back's going to be coming up on your back somewhere.
Yep.
And number two, depending on what the linemen are doing next to you, if they end up pancaking or twisting someone into you, it's always a tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, those are some of the worst injuries to look at when you're watching NFL games, is those that happen in the pocket.
Yeah. Hopefully he just rolled his ankle or something like that, and he's going to be okay. Obviously the training staff is going to be taking good care of him. We have a great staff out there who's going to be working on him and making sure he's going to be doing all right.
So in addition to planning and putting on the pep rally today, the SGA is also in charge of running tomorrow's homecoming dance.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot.
How is planning going for that? How is the SGA crew this year? Are they up to the task?
The SGA crew this year is awesome. We have a bunch of really great guys. It's really a privilege to be able to work with students like this. All of our students at DeMatha are awesome. Quite honestly, it's really exciting. It's been a great run-up to this game in terms of the pep rally, Spirit Week, and it seems like we're going to have a really great turnout for the homecoming dance as well. I know our guys are going to be there pretty much all morning setting up for it, and then we're going to get them out of there so they can go, do the whole take pictures thing and enjoy the day a little bit before getting to the dance. But it should be a really good time.
Yeah, no, I know the students are going to be looking forward to that. I've got a couple of athletes who are heading down to Virginia for cross country tomorrow. They're running in Mechanicsville, just outside Richmond. Pretty big, very competitive meet. Just going down, one senior, one junior, just looking to get a solid time on their resume. And they're both hoping that they can get back in time to make it to the homecoming dance.
I know.
They're very excited about it. So we're getting ready for this next play, and they quickly ran that play. And Bud Coombs got into the end zone from a yard out. I was getting ready to mention that the injured player is Anthony Chuman, and he needed quite a bit of support getting off the field. He is now walking under his own power, which is good to see. But he was walking very gingerly with a couple of guys helping him get off the field.
Definitely looks like a leg injury.
Yeah.
But on that last play, I will say Bud Coombs was basically used the video game hit stick and absolutely ran over that edge defender to get in the end zone. The ref actually had to calm him down a little bit because I think the adrenaline was cooking up a little bit in him. Those plays are always tough to calm down after because it was such a great run to push through into the end zone there. But DeMatha's lining up for this extra point, which should be pretty easy for him. And it is Good, yes. So DeMatha takes a lead, 35-7. Moving into 6 minutes and 34 seconds left in the fourth quarter. This game is all but in hand for DeMatha as long as no major upsets or changes happen here. I expect that you're going to start to see DeMatha start to play some possibly second-string guys, get them some good field time, some good field experience, some younger guys, get them out there and get them some live game time, especially, like I said, against a team, Good Counsel, who is a pretty darn good team. Just feels like they lost that spark midway through the first quarter and weren't able to find it until just the last drive. I know our tech wizard in here, Corey Puffett's not speaking right now because he's working on correcting some of the graphics there on the screen for you. But DeMatha is lining up here to kick off. These are the types of plays right here where, again, they can kind of make or break kind of whether this game is going to be in hand or not for DeMatha. If they get a good kickoff, good coverage here, and that is an excellent kickoff through the back of the end zone for DeMatha. We're going to have Good Counsel taking over at their own 20. Just over 6:30 left. Not a lot of time for them to be able to actually make it down the field quick enough, especially with kind of how the receiving game and quarterback and passing game has been going. But we're going to have to see if they can turn it on here because they're definitely going to have to air this out. I'll be curious to see what defense DeMatha ends up going into here. Looks like they're going to be going into a cover 2 defense, which is probably a really good call. Give it some extra help over the top there. Good Counsel, not lined up with many receivers out there. They got 2 men in the backfield, tight end, and they're going back to the run, surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, when you're down to under 6.5 minutes left, it's back to a 4-score game. As much as you want it to continue to compete, you want your offense to run its see what it can do. You also want to try and get your guys out of here healthy, especially after you just saw a player get hurt. They may be starting to think about that a little bit because they're not in any rush to run this second play of the drive. And they'll this time they fake the handoff and they try to go up top, and the receiver got turned around, and it is Jacob Wallace with his second interception of the game. DeMatha's defensive touchdown leader on the season with 2 picks in this game now, and he takes it back into plus territory around the 25 or so yard line.
That was, I'm not sure if you guys at home want to rewind the tape and watch that, but DeMatha got away with a massive pass interference on that play. There was a defender at the top side of your screen. He actually made contact with the receiver probably about 8 to 10 yards down the field and slammed and pushed his receiver into the other receiver who the ball was intended for right around when the pass was occurring. But because the ball wasn't in the air yet, I don't think the ref saw it, and it made it an easy interception. Those are just the facts of the game sometimes. It turns out like that, right? You got to fight through those things, and you got to make plays. But DeMatha definitely got away with one right there in a massive turnover. And I think DeMatha is going to take a second here and have a bit of a chat with their team on how to finish properly. Making sure, again, trying to play for safety, playing for smart decisions here, and probably getting some guys some game time who don't see the field quite as often to give them some good experience. I'm actually not sure what was happening there. I don't think they called a timeout for anyone.
No, both teams still have the same number of timeouts, 3 for Good Counsel, 2 for DeMatha. So I'm not sure what the stoppage in play was here, but DeMatha will be taking over possession after the interception by Jacob Wallace.
First down, DeMatha.
DeMatha most likely is going to be going back to the run here, I can only assume.
Yeah, 1 tight end in the formation. High snap there as DeMatha has actually brought in a backup quarterback now, number 12, Kenjay Gatling. He is a sophomore quarterback for DeMatha in the game, and I'm not sure who the center was there. I don't know if it's still Aiden Smith in the game or if they've replaced him, but a very high snap.
I saw him working on some snaps on the sideline before this, but you can never replicate the game, right? It's that first snap nerves are always there. I expect that you're going to see him settle down here, take a deep breath, get back to the game plan, focusing on the run. Yep.
Better snap there, right to him. The handoff up the middle, and that is number 20, Darius Harrell, senior running back with the carry, and he picks up maybe a yard or two, not a whole lot. DeMatha did lose about 5 or 6 on that previous play, so they got maybe 2 of that back, and there's a flag on the field, and it is on DeMatha.
Yeah, this is the stuff that you really don't want to see. That was, I believe, number 75, Zion Smith. I mean, you can't hate on him too much. He's playing till the end of the echo of the whistle, right? That's what you want guys to do. But at the same time, you don't want guys getting real chippy here at the end of the game that's already out of hand. Injuries can happen, right? Guys getting a little too focused on kind of pushing each other after the play or taking shots at each other in the game that at this point has pretty much been decided.
So personal foul, 3rd down and very, very long for the Stags. And at this point, do you just run the ball?
I think you take a shot. I mean, you're going to be punting from this position, so you let the sophomore quarterback get some experience, right?
Gatling with a solid pass out there to the right side of the field. They do pick up a handful of yards on the completion.
Pass complete to Josh Virgil. Chase Brown makes the tackle.
That was Josh Virgil with the catch, and number 88, the junior wide receiver. And now on 4th and long, DeMatha looks like they're still keeping the offense on the field here.
Yeah, I
guess you figure a punt isn't really going to give you that much field position, so you may as well let the offense run a play, see what they can do. As you just said, give the sophomore quarterback a little bit of experience.
If you can gain 10 to 15 yards here, that's essentially equivalent to a punt. And giving guys experience is always really useful.
Gatling looking downfield, has some pretty good protection, and he does get it to his man as a penalty flag comes out at the end of the play, right around the it was the official behind the defensive line, and it's holding against the Stags. Now, it was 4th down. There was a completion, but it resulted in a turnover on downs. So does Counsel just take that, or do they try and push DeMatha back, make them run another play, and see if they can get even better field position? It looks like Counsel is going to go ahead and decline the penalty and take the result of the play, which is a turnover on downs.
Yeah, that's the smart move. With time running down like this, it's just keep the game moving forward, and you're getting possession, so you're going to be in control of the ball here. Good Counsel again. I'll be curious to see if they bring in some younger guys to get some experience here, give their starters a little bit of a break. They got a good season going, so you don't want to really risk anything at this point in the season, and just kind of try to coast here into the finish of the game.
Good Counsel has brought Brady Cox back in, the freshman quarterback that we saw him at the start of the 3rd quarter, threw a 29-yard pick 6 to Noah Chambers. And here he hands it off, and Counsel doesn't have a lot of running room there in the middle of the line of scrimmage, only picked up about a yard.
I think we're going to be seeing this pretty much until the end of the game, probably. A lot of basic, straightforward runs. They might let this young quarterback get a throw in here or there, but that definitely doesn't look like they're lining up for it.
Nope, they're going to run again. This one results in a nice gain up right around the line to gain, maybe a yard short. And that is where they're going to mark it. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Aiden McRae with the carry. Here's Washington with the tackle for the Stags. 8 of 8 on the play.
So following an 8-yard gain on 2nd and 9, we've got 3rd and 1 for the Falcons. Brady Cox on the field at quarterback. 2 backs with him. He's going to hand off. And number 21, Chris Handon, has found the edge, and he will move the chains.
Chris Handon with the carry. He lines up out of bounds. Taken out by Andrew Newman. Ruled out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Gain of 8. First and 10 to Counsel.
Corey, what do you think they're going to do here? Is it going to be a run or is it going to be a run?
I think there's I think yes.
Okay. Good call. You predicted it.
Yep, down to 2 minutes now in the fourth quarter. No 2-minute warning in high school football here. And about a gain of 4 on that first down carry. As we continue to move toward the end of this game, DeMatha holding a 35-7 lead as they move. They get set to move to 2-0 in conference play, 6-1 on the season, with a date against St. John's in D.C. coming up next week. And then back here on DM Stacks TV, Friday, November 1st, as we host McNamara in the final game of our regular season. Clock continues to run under 1:30. Another fresh set of downs for Good Counsel following another solid carry by number 21, Chris Handon.
Overall, I think this has been a really positive game for DeMatha. I think there were a lot of what I'm most impressed with are the unforced errors, right? DeMatha, I remember announcing with you last year, Corey, that was one of their bigger problems, right? They had a lot of talent on the field. They were playing really well. But the times where they struggled the most in the season were when they were when they were hurting themselves. Offsides penalties, excessive celebration penalties, all those little things that are preventable penalties, right?
Yeah.
You know that a holding is going to happen. You know that a pass interference is going to happen. Those are kind of facts of the game and the way it's designed. But you got to prevent yourself from kind of from taking the momentum away from your own team or hurting yourself somehow field position-wise. And I think DeMatha has done a really excellent job this game of staying composed, playing smart football, and making sure that they gave themselves the best opportunity to come out and win this game.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned earlier there were a couple of plays today that probably could have resulted on penalties against DeMatha that they got away with. Those would have been places where they were shooting themselves in the foot, but 2 missed penalties is not a 28-point swing. So definitely a lot to feel good about for DeMatha, but plenty of film for them to take a look at and continue to work as they get set for a big game against St. John's next week. And we hit triple zeros. The game is over. DeMatha wins 35-7. We don't really have a whole lot of a post-game show for you tonight. We're going to try and get out of here. It's a little past 9 already. So want to quickly.
Way past my bedtime.
Yeah, way past mine.
A DeMatha student is a man with pride in himself as a gentleman, a scholar, and a member of the community.
He not only represents himself and his family, but also his fellow classmates, his teachers, his coaches, the alumni, and the Trinitarian Order.
As our school grows and prospers, he will be entrusted with caring for the tradition of excellence that he has inherited. He shall be a leader whose commitment and discipline will show him to be a man of honor and integrity.
A DeMatha student sets goals for himself as a scholar, a teammate, a classmate, and a man.
To attain these goals, he bases his life on the principles of hard work, sacrifice, determination, service, and selflessness.
These ideals will help him achieve a level of excellence that will earn him respect as an individual.
A DeMatha student is a man of action and a man of prayer, who accepts readily the challenges of the world.
He takes responsibility for himself and others.
He always has his order.
He respects those who have come before him, are with him now, and will follow him.
Courageous. He is humble God.
He is steadfast in his service to others.
He's a faith-filled gentleman and a scholar.